Welcome to Trash Talk.
Welcome to Trash Talk. We are at the manufacturing plant in Hot Springs, North Carolina. The company name is Advanced Biogas Systems. We're part of the landfill group, and we build the equipment that goes into the landfills that turns nasty gas from the landfill into natural gas going into the pipeline.
Eric Sternberg, I'm the plant manager here at Advanced Biogas Systems. Welcome. So Steve, tell us a little bit more about what ABS does here in Hot Springs.
So ABS was originally founded to build equipment that goes into landfills. We started out building energy projects, installing generators, and I actually worked with you. You worked at Caterpillar, installing generators that would generate anywhere from 1 megawatt to 4 megawatts per site. That started in 2006. Since then, we've been building energy projects, and then we migrated into renewable natural gas, where we turn the landfill gas into natural gas and put it in the natural gas pipeline.
Yeah, because I think you and I met the first time in 2013. And that was when I transitioned over to be your account manager.
Yeah.
And then we were doing what? Gas 3520s.
Yeah.
That was the introduction of that product.
We had about 4 projects going then.
Yep. So when we get into the equipment of what ABS produces, can you tell me a little bit about that?
I can give you a little bit of a high level overview of it. So we have a inlet blower skid that brings the gas in from the landfill. We create a vacuum on the landfill, bring the gas into the system, and the first thing we want to do is remove the hydrogen sulfide from the gas. So we go through a hydrogen sulfide removal system, then we go into a dehydration system that dries the gas out. Then we go to a TSA that takes all the VOCs and siloxanes out of the gas, and then processes on through. We compress it. It goes through CO2 separation, and then by the time we get done, it's basically 99% pure methane when it gets to the end. When you take all the bad stuff out of the gas, you can't smell the gas when it gets to the end. And normally we have to odorize it before it goes into the pipeline.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, you can't smell it when you get everything out of it. Most of what you smell in landfill gas is hydrogen sulfide and VOCs. And once you take all that out of the gas, then you can't smell it. Natural gas, you can't smell either. And they have to put odorant in it. When it goes into people's houses, if there's a leak, they can smell it.
Wow. Interesting. That's way different than our energy producing days.
Oh yeah, it is a lot different.
So your role here is the general manager. So what does a day in life of being the GM here at Advanced Biogas look like? Sometimes
it's kind of challenging, to say the least, but it's rewarding too, to know that you're doing something that's helping the environment. You know, we're taking a gas that would normally be discharged into the atmosphere, and we're cleaning it up and using it as a product that benefits the country.
So let's back up a little bit in time and say from 2006, what did it look like then versus what did it look like now? Because I know when we were working with projects together in the energy producing space, just the cleaning system itself has changed dramatically from then to now. So maybe let's step back from the beginning and what did it look like then versus to the product that we're putting out the door today?
Basically, I worked for the landfill group back in 2005 when they were installing their first power generation site. I worked as a contractor and installed their first generator. That was bare bones. I mean, basically, we took the gas from the landfill. We did a little bit of cleanup on it, and then put it in the engine and ran it. And as we developed new sites, we started building our own treatment skids to pull the VOCs out of the gas, the siloxanes, and other constituents that's in the gas that is detrimental to the engines. You know, as well as I do, if you have high siloxanes in a landfill and you send that gas to a generator without treating it, it just coats the heads, and you end up changing heads.
Yeah,
every
pistons,
month or two.
Pistons, everything. And it's not every landfill is created equal. So those contaminants vary based on what's being introduced into the landfill. So you're basically plugging into a living, breathing organism, if you will.
Yeah.
So
what we started doing is treating the gas before it went to the generators. We started building siloxane VOC removal systems, dehydration systems, where we actually chill the gas to dehydrate the gas. And we noticed a dramatic increase in the life of the heads. We did one job in Alcoa, Tennessee, and we actually tracked the progress on it. We pulled a head off the engine that had 8,000 hours on it, and it had no buildup on the heads.
that's why ABS developed a cleaning system to clean the gas so we could get more operation life out of the engines and out of the generators to produce power. So decreasing owning and operating costs was a major focus. And uptime. That created a bunch of job opportunity for me back in the day of cylinder head testing, and I ran a couple projects at that time just focused merely on cylinder head performance.
Right.
So yeah, I remember those times very, very vividly.
Yeah. The good thing about the equipment we designed back then, we still use today in our renewable energy systems. So when we're making natural gas, we're using some of the equipment we designed back when we were in the energy sector generating electricity.
So now we're cleaning the gas even finer and even cleaner than what we did back then. And instead of producing renewable energy, now we're producing renewable natural gas. And how did that shift impact ABS?
We started building a lot more equipment. So on the power generation sites, we would build like an inlet blower skid, a flare, a dehydrator, and a TSA, and that was about it. But now on the RNG sites where we're making renewable natural gas, it takes 10 to 12 pieces of equipment to process the gas and get it clean enough to go into a pipeline and meet the pipeline tariffs.
Yeah, so when we were injecting gas into the Caterpillar engines, how many pieces of equipment or stages did the gas have to flow through before it was into the engine?
Basically 3.
3. So we've almost tripled the amount of processes that the gas has to go through.
Yeah. I'd like to go back a little bit. So I've worked for the company since 2006, and actually as a contractor before that in 2005. And we branded the ABS product line in 2012. We were actually making equipment before then. We just wasn't offering it for sale for other people to use. So I've got several years in with the company, and you're about 90 days in so far. So I'd kind of get a perspective from you walking in from the outside on where we are now. And then I'd kind of like to walk us through how we got to where we are now.
Sure. So coming in at the beginning of May, the transition from Asheville to here was a major undertaking. So with the flood coming through and having 17 feet of water run through the old shop, everything was in pretty bad shape. And coming from, a corporation of the size of Caterpillar and coming to ABS is quite the difference. And coming into Hot Springs, even just from being in the Midwest most of my life, it's, that's moving to a small mountain town was even more different. So it's been an amazing change and transition here. But I think one thing that's always been solid with ABS and back then with Interdyne is the people. That's been the major difference. And it's, we lived in the trenches back in 2013 in the engine days and the power producing days, and the people is what made all the difference working with Interdyne and ABS back then versus working with some of the other accounts and some of our other customers. And I've always appreciated that relationship. That's why I'm here, is because of the people. And I think that level of family-owned business is just, it's irreplaceable.
Back in 2012, when we branded the ABS line, we didn't have any idea where it was going to go. We had a vision, and I was thinking the other day about the vision that me and Will were shooting emails back and forth in 2012. We'd already built a few pieces of equipment, and we had a vision of where we wanted the company to go. And we started out in a little small building about the size of this room to build our first skid in. Then we migrated to a 2-bay semi garage to build our first RNG project. After that, we moved into a little bigger building. We had cranes and everything installed. And during this time that we were growing, we were always in the downtown Swananoa River area and have gone through 4 floods since 2012.
Wow.
Most of them were minor, but the last one was 17 feet of water. We tried to reopen in that area, but we couldn't get power on the building. We couldn't get a lot of the infrastructure turned back on to allow us to get back to work. So I knew about this property and I heard it was going up for sale. And we purchased this property just a few months ago and we're right now finishing moving in. But I look back at our vision that me and Will were talking about in 2012. And this is the vision that we had, that we would be moving into a factory and building this equipment. And for us to be able to move into a 100,000 square foot plant sitting on 81 acres is fulfilling that vision that we had in 2012.
Yeah, so you figure you started out in the power producing side to now the renewable natural gas side.
It's the same concept that we had with the electrical generation, but it's a little different. The way the contracts are structured and the length of the contracts and everything like that is a little different than it was.
Yeah, so what's unique about the landfill group is you have the construction advance one side of it, you have the landfill group side, you have Interdyne, you have the Jade engineering side, and then you have the advanced biogas systems all working together to build this complete project.
Yeah, we're kind of unique because we can do everything under one roof. There's not very many companies at all that build their own equipment that does everything under one roof.
And that's kind of what sets us apart from our competition, right? Is we own it from cradle to grave, if you will, or from concept to transition over to hand off to the customer.
Yeah, a lot of companies now will go out and purchase equipment from multiple manufacturers and they try to put the puzzle together and make it work. But a lot of times the equipment will not communicate with each other and they end up with a lot of issues. Yeah. But the way we do it is we build our own control systems. We build our own equipment. We install the controls, the PLCs, the SCADA system. So everything is all matched and work together when we commission the sites.
So everything is a system that's all vetted, basically, a lot of times before it even gets handed over to the customer, because we do our own quality checks here within ABS, and then we make sure everything is communicating at the installation and commissioning on the site.
And we've got a lot of processes in place that kind of keeps us compliant with B31.3 and the other requirements to build a project. And it's all done under one roof. So all the compliance data, the certificates, they're all in one place.
Yeah. So for the audience that doesn't know what B31.3 is, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
B31.3 is a piping code requirement for gas piping systems. The welds have to be inspected. They have to be done a certain way. We got procedures for each type of weld. We have to keep certificates on site. All our welders have to be certified and have to keep updated certificates on them. It's a lot to it, a lot of documentation, but we've got a good system in place. And that's one thing too. If you're buying that equipment from several different manufacturers, being able to compile all that information can be tedious.
Yeah. So it's from my previous roles, very familiar with ISO, very, very familiar with Six Sigma processes. And just, the traceability, the quality of ensuring we get an efficient quality product out the doors is the major focus. And, from the welding side and the pipe side, I haven't been introduced to any of that prior to stepping into this role in May. So leading this B31.3 initiative for ABS for both of us has been, I'll say, new, welcomed, and challenging all in the same bundle. We've been bringing on new people here. We've got additional resources that we haven't had in the past. I've seen B31 bring this team together better than I ever have anything else, probably in my history of leading a team. So in B31, how is that going to ensure that our customers are getting a quality product, or is it more to it than that?
Well, we do audits on the system to make sure that everything is compiled and everything is archived prior to completing the skids. Everything has to be audited before the skid ships to make sure that we have everything in place. It's also going to help 5 years down the road when a customer calls in and says, I need this document or that document or this information, that information. We've got all the drawings, all the specs, all the documentation in one spot. And a customer service person can go in there and click on that one file and have everything associated with that piece of equipment.
Nice. So that's some reassurance to our end users that no matter what happens, when it happens, we've got everything covered from the back end.
That's one of the good things too, being a one-stop shop. We do everything from the inlet gas pipe coming into the plant to the line going out to the utility. If a customer has a problem with a certain piece of equipment, they can come to us and we've got all the documentation right there. If that equipment was built by 5 or 6 different manufacturers, then you run into problems trying to figure out what the issue is. No, it's this piece of equipment that's causing the problem or this piece of equipment. Then you have to get 2 or 3 vendors involved and it gets very muddy.
Gotcha. So Steve, with ABS coming to Hot Springs, how has it had a positive impact on the community here?
So ABS coming into this area has had a huge impact on not just Hot Springs, but also the whole county. The Peerless Windsmith plant that closed down employed a lot of people in this area. In the 4 months that we've been in this building, we've been able to hire 13 people so far, and we're hiring more right now. We've got 2 or 3 more interviews to do. So it's having a big impact on the local area, plus the local businesses, the gas that we buy, the food that we buy, the Airbnbs that are rented will have a huge impact even moving forward in this area.
Yeah, so we've seen new hires come in that a lot of them were employed here at Peerless prior to our arrival. We've also made a lot of connections within the Hot Springs community on all fronts, from the restaurants to, just local business owners, and even with entities like the wastewater treatment plant that we've been able to help out too. So I think it's a huge impact thus far, and it's only going to get more impactful as we continue to grow.
Right.